It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. It seems I've been missing from the scene, but I'm always coming right back. In the city, just a couple niggas with me, cause I know I gotta watch my back. And I'ma be the realest when the dog falls out. And I'ma still be standing when the sky fall out. They say it's gang gang till it's time to roll out. But when them things bang, where them niggas at now? Real nigga for life. They thought I disconnected from my essence, Rocking shades, but never blocking my blessings, Come from a place where it's dreary like fatal fury. The hardest fight that you face is a jury. We never worry, nigga. Ain't seen a marriage, but violence coming, we grown for it. Gun smoking, new pause, death and stuff in new force. True gold, blue tour, shooting at your coupe door. Niggas catch a body, then rap about it on TuneCore. That's why I'm distant in my DMs. Rappers trying to be friends, but I don't think to me sin. I've been on some business, building LinkedIn, signature like in stores. Won't even touch your fucking track without an invoice. Develop habits to elevate in my brackets. I notice most of my peers to get comfortable being stagnant over 10 years. Trying to plant my feet in the ground, but not a taste of victory is about as sweet as it sound. Yeah. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, your number one source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. In this particular video, we're going to keep this thing going with 50 Cent and Joe Budden. Now, y'all know it wasn't that long ago, just a couple of weeks, that we talked about the whole 50 and Joe Budden thing, which really sparked out of much to do about nothing, right? They were talking about Irv Gotti passing, RIP to Irv Gotti. And, you know, unfortunately, 50, when this happened, he posted a photo smoking some hookah, talking about him smoking on that Irv pack. And most people, most sensible people, felt like that shit was wrong. It wasn't okay. Now, a lot of people out there, you know, they internalize the street issues or whatever may be. And I said, I understand why somebody like 50 would do it. However, I would never do it. I'm not that person. I don't come from that background. And, you know, that's just how I see it. But again, as a sensible person, I could see, yeah, that don't look good. It doesn't register good. And at nearly 50 years old, I think there's a better way to process the trauma behind, you know, whatever that incident was. Of course, we know 50 Cent was shot 9 times. Somebody tried to take his life, you know, very early on. And I don't know what that experience is like. I can't speak on that experience. But as a mature man, I would think, even if I do feel that way, maybe I wouldn't broadcast it to the world, right? All that being said, Joe Budden had a conversation about it on his podcast and said 50 Cent needs therapy. I don't think he was out of line for saying that he needs therapy. I think he was actually very much in line, especially as somebody who has made questionable decisions himself and has resorted to therapy for answers and to dig deep into himself. I think he needs more of it. He's gotten himself. You know what I mean? But for whatever reason, 50 Cent took it the wrong way, and he's been aiming in Joe Budden's direction ever since. He's been releasing, I won't even say releasing, but he's been pushing AI images of Joe Budden, you know, being naked on the street, which are not real. I say that he's not making them because I had already previously seen those images circulating online prior to 50 Cent actually getting them and posting them. But he's been on Joe's head ever since, from posting those to saying he needs therapy to saying, yo, nigga, why you out here walking around naked in your motherfucking building, sleepwalking and shit, and some more shit. Joe Budden has mostly taken the high road in the situation. He hasn't crashed out on the podcast. He hasn't gone back and forth with 50. He basically came out and said, yo, I'm going to let 50 have it. But if ever I get uncomfortable with what he's doing, you know, I'm not too proud to sue, you know, to take it the legal route. But I don't think he's going to do that because Joe also said he gets paid off of all this engagement and interaction. When people want to joke with him, when people want to make a spectacle out of him. It only increases the viewership. It only increases the money. It only makes his show even bigger. So on that side of it, I kind of agree with him. Now, one of the latest developments in this whole story is that Joe was recently out at a strip club, and I guess on his way out, I don't know if he heard some niggas off in the distance. I don't know if some niggas started rushing in his direction, or I don't know if he heard a G-unit come from the alleyway or something. But he had to get the fuck up out of Dodge. 50 Cent took to social media and let it be known that Joe had to rush up out the building. And Joe actually went on his podcast and pretty much confirmed that something did take place in which he had to put some extra pep in his step and hit the gas. So let's get into Joe's and he didn't go deep into it, but we'll get into Joe's admission of at least being confronted in some way by some people that may have been sent by 50 Cent. He claims that the bartenders may have slid the location, and he had to pull some audibles.
I believe the bartender. I'm playing.
Well, the bartenders get the drop on you. Bartender. Yo, the nigga just left just now, yo. He walked out.
Yo, tell Ray Random he at the door.
He at the door. He waiting for the drama. He's standing outside. He's waiting for the drama. Yeah, the fucking bartenders, I tell you.
Jam me up. You try to jam me up. I want to get your shit off. Go ahead. I can't say
I'm not trying to jam you up. I don't want to play.
I can't say nothing.
I don't want to play with you because you know why? I'm not a negativity highlighter. Ooh. So I don't want to play with you. I want to say I'm happy that you made it home safe.
I'd be down to play too. This shit wasn't true as hell. Nigga, I was 2 steps out of there. Yeah, got out of there kind of fast. I was like, oh shit, he got the line. Oh my God, yo, no, leave me alone today. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it
because I want you to get your shades.
You're not going to be there with me. You're not going to be there with me.
I will.
No, you're not.
Now, what happens when I'm there is 2 different things. I'll be there. Yo, Doug. Hey, yo, Fifth, come on.
You gonna do that shit you always do? Get a couple licks in on me. Oh, shit. You gonna do that shit you always do? Push me, knock me to the ground. I ain't playing.
But if I knock you to the ground, I'm preventing you from getting jumped.
Oh my Lord, thank you.
Because some niggas may not hit me because they know me. I flip, get out the way.
That's exactly how I got hit every time I ever got hit. Nah, he ain't gonna hit me. Oh shit! Thank God Mermaids was just weak that night. I was just in and out on the humbug. I ain't even know. He was on the way. You gotta move fast to catch me though. That was my 3rd, 4th stop for the night, and I'm 44. I ain't just gonna be outside at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I'm going home. Thank God. Oh shit! Jesus.
It's the line.
Shut up, Joe Budden. That's it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm shutting up. I might talk to the rest of you niggas. Hold up now. Oh, hold up, for real. There's a few of these niggas out here I want to know if they can fight. I was in the comments.
I saw that too. Though.
Hey, you can believe this. You think what's my man name? You think he can fight?
No.
Because I don't.
I don't know. I don't really fuck with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn him.
Is he in the community?
All right, so that's Joe Budden and the Joe Budden podcast. Quickly speaking on the situation that happened, he confirms that there was something going on. He had to get up out of Dodge. I guess niggas started forming like Voltron. He said, shit, not me. Shitting me. I see y'all a little bit later. Okay? Now, Joe, everybody knows that you like to be in the strip clubs. So this is not the first time that Joe's been confronted in public. Like, we already know about the olden days when Raekwon and them called him at backstage of the show. I mean, you ain't gonna get away from that because they were at a festival with Wu-Tang members. It was only bound to happen that they was gonna get confronted, right? But just last year, I think it was last year or the year before, I think it was last year, people associated with Caesar Pena. Joe got into an actual brawl in the middle of, I think it was a hookah lounge or some shit. Nigga was in there watching the game, right? Eating some motherfucking lemon pepper wings, and he got confronted by some folks affiliated with Cesar Pena, which is, if y'all don't remember Cesar Pena, he's the real estate scammer that is also associated with DJ Envy, and there was a big spectacle around that. There was a lot of people saying that money was coming up missing and stuff like that. Of course, we know Ish is also in the real estate game. I think he's more like a developer. So they had plenty of conversations about that whole situation up there on Joe Budden's show. And Caesar didn't like what Joe Budden had to say about him. He didn't like that he was the butt of his jokes. So he ended up sending some people that were, not all that friendly in Joe's direction. And he literally got into a brawl in the middle of a hookah lounge. Now, he said that there was mop water all on the floor. Like, this was a sloppy, nasty situation, and he said he didn't get beat up. They was really just kind of tussling and sliding, and, he made it out, but he still felt pretty good about it and felt like he wanted to run it back if need be. So this would not have been the first incident of Joe being confronted for something that he said on the podcast in a public forum where people don't like it and want to send somebody at him. But I'm quite sure the niggas that 50 would call would be a little bit more on point than maybe the people associated with a Cesar Pena. Okay? But at the end of the day, I don't understand what you need therapy. Just you know what I mean? Yo, you need therapy. You need to work out some of your emotional trauma. You need to work out some of the kinks of how you're wired, right? You're so aggressive. You're making a mockery out of people in your profession. Where's the respect? That's not, you know what I mean? That's not going above too far. But for whatever reason, 50 Cent has decided to keep his sights on Joe Budden. He has not let them off Joe Budden as of yet. And it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes from here, right? Because it could easily get out of hand. I wouldn't like to see it that way. I mean, again, these guys are all pushing 50 years old. There's too much money to be made. 50 Cent, what the fuck, bro? Like, you're at the top of fucking TV show. You got about 12 TV shows out here producing all this type of stuff. Where do you find the time? But whatever, right? So there's a clip circulating on social media now of Whack 100 and Adam 22 having a conversation about the situation. Of course, we're not all that fond of Whack or Adam 22, but in this conversation, Whack was basically saying that it might be wise for Joe to consider hiring security if he's going to be hanging out in these types of areas, especially these areas, the strip clubs. I'm not going to call it a low vibrational place, although some people would agree with that. But it's a very low lit, loud music, and you're going to get some unceremonious characters that come into these places, and they're expected to be there. If you're going to be in these types of settings late at night with nobody watching your back, you might want to either think twice about doing it, or you might want to get somebody on payroll that could at least be another set of eyes to make sure that you get there and leave safely. I've never been a strip club type nigga, so I could never, understand what keeps him going into these settings, the way that he does. But for those that enjoy, I won't judge, but I'll just say for him, he should definitely be traveling with someone else that could keep an eye on things. But here's the conversation.
Said something about Joe Budden getting chased out of a club called Mermaids, I believe. Mm-hmm. I think it's in Queens or Brooklyn or something. He called him out for it. Everybody thought Joe was not going to respond to it, but then Joe on his podcast today, shout out to Danny from The Stop. I wouldn't know this if it wasn't for him, but he basically played a clip from his podcast in which Joe more or less admitted and acknowledged that he was essentially chased out of the strip club and maybe changing his tune.
Listen, if Joe admitted he was chased out of the strip club, that's one thing. But to say there were 50's goons is another thing.
Men that 50 sent to deal with it. Who knows? It could have been 50 himself on the way.
listen, he might know him. You know what I'm saying? But that don't make them his goons. What are y'all trying to do? Build a case on 50?
I mean, it feels like 50 kind of acknowledged it. Joe kind of acknowledged it. It doesn't really feel like we're doing much to build a case.
But I don't think they wanted to get him because these days when you're getting chased, there's only one thing that gets the people pursuing you off of you.
Death.
You got to have something to back them up. Somebody chasing you and they want to get you. Either they just BSing in front like they want to do something to you, want to see you run, or you did something in defense to bag them up enough so you can get away.
I don't want to tell Joe Budden how he should be moving around, but I think Joe Budden needs to have personal armed security with him at any given time. There should not be an option that somebody can just show up to a club and chase you out of there.
Joe's not going to do that.
Keep security with him? I mean, I know he has security at least some of the time. I
don't believe Joe moves around with security.
I've seen videos of him moving around with security.
I've seen Joe. They got videos of Joe out eating with his chick and people walking up.
No, that's true too. To do his podcast, it was like regular ass apartment in Queens, and it was just the basement. And there was no security. They were acting like they weren't famous.
Yeah, I think Joe was like on some whatever. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. Can he summon security? Definitely can. Why he's not? I don't know. Maybe he's trying to get away from that element and keep it out his mouth.
He was also making fun of me for having security when I was in New York that time.
Who was?
Joe.
Yeah, well, that's because Joe ain't. Joe should have security.
He just switched it up.
He should, but he's not because he's Joe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Joe's like, do what you gonna do.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel too.
And I think,
not in Chicago,
don't get it wrong,
here.
Joe got some people that love him, that'll move with him. But I really think Joe, over the last decade or so, been kind of like moving away from dealing with that element of it.
Yeah.
And the 50 Cent side of it is really not a threat because 50's a businessman. He's a mogul. He's going to talk his shit.
And keep in mind, this is
But I don't think 50's sending nobody to get Joe.
This is all because Joe said that 50 needs to do therapy. This is not the most aggressive thing to respond with deadly violence to,
Telling a black man he need to do some therapy is crazy.
Well, posting about another man dying and saying that you're smoking on him for 50, that is kind of crazy. Like, that is, I don't think that Joe saying that is so outrageous. And I understand why he did it, and I don't hold it against 50, but, I mean, that's pretty wild behavior.
That's crazy.
If I told my therapist, hey, this guy I hate died, and so I posted about it to my, 20 million Instagram followers, I think she would probably say that, like, maybe we should double up this week, do two sessions. Therapy might be necessary for anyone who's doing that. And I understand he tried to get you killed. So I get it. For sure, if somebody tried to get me killed and they died, I would probably be having fun with it privately. I don't think I would do it on Instagram. What are you reading? You okay?
Now, oddly enough, Whack 100 and Adam 22 are still making content together. I still ain't forgot that episode where I guess somebody got jumped outside of the No Jumper Studios and he tried to suspend Whack and all that shit. And Whack was like, it's not finna go that way, buddy. You talking about I can't come back? We're going to have a different conversation. And now we got Whack 100 right back in the studio having conversations like nothing ever happened. Some people believe that might have been a publicity stunt. Maybe it was. It could have very well been. Or we could be watching extortion in effect right before our eyes where it's like, nigga, no, you can't tell me not to come back here. I got a contract. You can't, no. All right? And if you think you want to breach this contract on a professional level, I'm going to show you my level of professionalism and how far it extends. Okay, man, just come back and just fulfill your contract, okay? I find that to be interesting. But one of the more level-headed conversations between these two clowns, so I guess I'll give them a half a salute for that, because I do believe, again, I agree with the fact that Joe Budden should be traveling with security. If he's going to be out and about in these different areas, especially, again, if you're in the strip club and hookah lounges, it's not just women that's going to be in these places. It's going to be some dusties in your circumference. And at bare minimum, you would like to have some at least an extra set of eyes, an extra set of ears, and a legal set of firearms. I don't know how security works out there in Jersey. But something. Hell, if a nigga got I got a motherfucking crowbar. I got mace. Shit, something that'll slow a motherfucker down. But of course, like Wax said, Joe feels like, hey, it is what it is. I would just say slow down on that shit, man. You got a girl, you got a consistent girlfriend now. You hitting 50. You got a very successful business. You talk about people for a living. Like you have enough going on to where it's probably not wise to just be eating wings and looking at ass all night where people could actually walk up to you on some unfriendly shit. All right? But y'all let me know what y'all think of all this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Become an insider. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef on computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.